I guess spoilers for the original Final Fantasy VII. I don't understand why Square changed the return to Nibelheim. I think I have not had a problem with any of the other stuff that they did except for the traversal problems, gameplay issue, not a story issue. I don't mind them redoing stuff. I don't mind them changing stuff. I just don't understand why they specifically did this. And maybe by the end of the game it will become clear why they had to do it that way, but I'm just this was such a glorious piece of kind of horror gameplay in a place that you would not expect it, and it was so effective, I thought, at the time, and they just replaced this horrifying scene of going back to Nibelheim, not having anything be like what Cloud said, being what the hell, because you are as confused as he is, because he doesn't know what's going on as a character, and you don't as a player either, which is an interesting kind of story mechanism and way to tell a story, and you're just what is going on with Cloud? And then Nibelheim is the place where Cloud and Tifa both grew up. And so originally what happens is Cloud tells you a story about how he was, because this whole time Cloud's he's a soldier, which is it's always in all cap letters because it's like a title, like a captain, right? He's a soldier, right? Which is a special thing in the Shinra corporate army. 100% you could not. I'm just I don't know if they could tell this story if it wasn't already from the 90s, because it is legitimately about how a gang of eco-terrorists blowing up a reactor against the corporate the state, which is the corporation, and they're the ones that are good, and I'm just don't know if that could come out now, but fucking amazing. It's a lot of times when people are oh, you couldn't make this now, they're because of the wokey wokes wouldn't let you, and I'm I legitimately don't know if you could make this now, because I think it might get censored by fascies, because the original version is just too fucking epic to make it in the current gamer rage environment. It's intense. Will says it's intense. It's the first time you feel there's really more horrifying than just reactors and propaganda. Yeah, because Cloud tells you this story, right? And he's I was there, all of this stuff happened, Sephiroth went berserk and murdered everyone, burned my hometown down, and murdered my mom in front of me, and stabbed my best friend, just turned into a monster in front of me, and he was a pretty chill guy, because that's the thing, you don't see that much of Sephiroth, right? You see in the original game, you see where Sephiroth has been, right? But you don't see him very much until the Nibelheim flashback. And you've already gotten this idea that Sephiroth is this giant monster, and then Cloud tells you this story about how he was on a mission with Sephiroth as a soldier, and Sephiroth went berserk and murdered everybody that he ever knew in his hometown and burned it to the ground. And then when you go back and the whole time Tifa's kind of Cloud, is that really what happened? Are you sure? Cloud, are you sure? Are you sure? And Cloud's yes, I am sure. And then you go to Nibelheim, and it's not burned down. It's intact. It's not burned down. There are people living in the houses that Cloud and Tifa do not know. And Cloud goes to his childhood home where he grew up with his mother, who was murdered in front of him. And there is a woman living there who does not know him and says that he never lived there. And you are left to wonder what the actual fuck is happening. And that's kind of, it's not the actual first time, but it is the big bum point where you're did Cloud lie to us? Is he but he's so bereft by this that I didn't think he was lying. I was just what is going on? And then it comes out Cloud was not there, except he was. But, like, the person that Cloud narrates himself as being, he was not that person. And, like, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but it's just, like, that first, like, return, when you go back after the flashback, when you go back there after the flashback, just the absolute, I've had literal nightmares like this. You just, like, go into your home, and there's someone there, it's not your spouse, they don't know you, and they're like, you don't live here. You know what I mean? Like, that's nightmare shit. Spoilers for Rebirth. They just, like, have Tifa pet, like, a column and be like, yep, seems new. Shinra must have rebuilt it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? 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 Yes, in the game, Shinra rebuilt the town and put people there to hide the fact that Sephiroth had done this. And that's why there's this whole thing, and then it goes into the point, which is, like, one of the most horrifying things I've ever experienced in a video game, where, like, Sephiroth takes control of Cloud's body and forces him to, like, stab Aerith, and he doesn't. Like, at the very last second, Sephiroth does it himself, which everyone, like, is the part everyone knows about. But, like, y'all, I sat there, I think, with that PlayStation 1 controller in my hand for about 40 minutes. Like, every time I would push a button, Cloud would get closer to stabbing Aerith. There's no way to save, there's no way to get out of it, there's nothing that you can do besides shut the PlayStation off. Except to continue to see this through. I tried pushing other buttons. They had planned for that. No matter what you did, you try to push a different button, it still advances it. And I was so, like sick and heart sick over this, because, like, Tifa was my favorite, but I loved Aerith. And I didn't want to hurt her. And, like, and to just, like, it was this so effective. That's the spoiler trailer, because, like, we're not done. We have not gone back to the gold saucer yet. We have not had the date with Aerith. We've not done that part yet, so I don't know how they're going to end this. Although my assumption is that we're going to end in the City of the Ancients, because it seems like a good stopping place. But, like, I just don't, I'm like, and maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a great reason why they changed this incredibly effective piece of storytelling. But, I mean, that's gonna be a real high bar to get over, because, like, I was so deep, like, affected and impressed by what they were able to pull off with that, like, to see them just be like, yep, it's not here anymore. I was like, what? And they've definitely given, like, a lot of credence towards this is not the same timeline, like, stuff like that. Fine, that's fine. But I'm just like, but the way that you did this one part originally was so good. I wish you hadn't changed it. I was excited to see Zack. I mean, like, Crisis Core made me love Zack. I was like, Zack has made squats into his, like, personality, and I frankly love that for him. Yeah, Zack is, like, he's just, like, Mr. Good Dude. I love Zack. He's just such a sweetie pie. And he's just like a sweet jock guy. He is the Final Fantasy VII universe, like, gentle himbo. He likes to do squats, and he just wants to do the right thing and be the best and do all the squats. And I love him so much. I genuinely, by the time we got to the end of Crisis Core, I genuinely cried when Zack died. Do you still go into Shinra Mansion and find the notes and stuff? You mean to unlock Vincent? No. You don't. No, you don't do that. I mean, like, you see the flashback. They did the flashback where Sephiroth's, like, pacing around in the library in Shinra Manor, getting more and more agitated as he's reading, like, Hojo's experiment notes. Like, you see that. We did find Vincent. That's the other thing, too, is I'm like, all of this traversal, all of this stuff, and then, like, you know, they're also, like, not fucking kidding about some of these fights. Like, the difficulty spike to defeat Vincent Valentine was wild difficulty spike. No, you don't open a safe. No, you don't open a safe. What you do is you climb up Mount Nibel, right? And like, which like, whatever. You climb up Mount Nibel, doing more pretty bad traversal. I'm sorry, Square, but like, you did that, not me. I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you with the fact that your traversal got super broken. Yeah, no timer safe, none of that. It's just not there. God, Will is having an absolute, like, freak out in the chat. I'm sorry. If you want to do that part, you're gonna have to go just get one of the re-releases of the original game, because, like, it's not in there. I've really enjoyed, I think, we played it in English. I think all of the English voice acting is really well done. I especially love, Tifa and Aerith, and I think that they should date each other. That is my new favorite ship, is Tifa and Aerith, who are adorable, and I love them. And I just want them to smoochy a little, and hold hands. Just hold hands, please. I just want them to hold hands. I mean, and the mini games have definitely been numerous and of varying quality. I would say overall mostly pretty good. Even the ones that are a little bit like, I'm not so sure about this, they're like not long. I thought the card games, you know how they started putting card games in like what, like 9? And they were crappy for a really long time. Card games gotten pretty good. So, I like that. We just got Sid and Vincent. But they're not playable. Which is what they did do at the end of Remake. Like, you got Red 13, but he wasn't playable. I loved, they did a voice switch when you find out that Red 13 is a little bitty tiny baby boy. Which I thought was so choice. It was so good. I haven't really had beef with anything except the fucking traversal being broken until the Nibelheim change, and now I'm just like, but why? Why would you do that? Josh asked me yesterday if I have forgiven Yuffie. And I'm like, yes, I guess so. Is my answer. I've forgiven remake Yuffie. I have not forgiven original Yuffie. You made me go do this hard-ass pagoda fight. You stole all my fucking materia. And then I had to go do a hard-ass pagoda fight without it so I could get it fucking back. And then you gave it back to me wrong. I had that shit all set up, and you gave it back to me wrong. I deliberately did not use Yuffie at all because I was mad about it, and then I fucked myself up at the end of the game for having done that, like a dingus. Vincent is also not, like, random either. Like, you don't have to use her, but, like, you should, because there's a way to break Yuffie's, like, fighting, that's absolutely ridiculously OP. I'll just stick Yuffie in there and then just keep hitting square and triangle over and over again, and if you do that very fast, she'll just, like, once you get the ATB bar, you can put, like, whatever their elemental weaknesses on, and you can just, like, literally hover over them, just, like ninja whacking them pretty much indefinitely, and, like, most of the monsters can't get to you if you're doing that. So, you know, it kind of breaks everything, but in a way that's incredibly satisfying, so I like it. Like, it feels like I figured that out myself, so, it feels like I'm taking advantage of knowledge I earned myself by fucking around with the controls, essentially. I don't know who would skip Vincent. If you... Listen, if you play the original Final Fantasy VII, and you skip Vincent, I accept you, but I don't know if we can hang out. You know what I mean? Like, we might not be friends, but I accept you. He was grumbly in a funny way, like he usually is. I don't know, I've always, like, loved Vincent. I was, like, a 19-year-old goth when I first played Final Fantasy VII. Of fucking course I loved Vincent. They made Vincent for people like me. Specifically. Was I playing optimally? No. I was using Vincent a lot. Even though it's like, his limit break's not that good. But I liked him, so I used him a lot. And then I got fucked up at the end and had to, like, restart my whole game. It was a whole thing. They were, like, really not forgiving with that shit in the old days. Like, if you fucked up your RPG builds, guess what? Go fuck yourself. You might need to start the game over, especially if you didn't have enough saves. Oh, did you not make 3 extra saves and then, like, alternate your saving in between those? Well, guess what, bitch? It's 1997. Go fuck yourself. How about that? Start the game over. Eat shit. That's kind of how it was. That's what games were like back then. I still play like that too. Like, I still make so many, like, different saves just so I don't get fucking stun locked. It was incredibly easy back in the day to soft lock your game. Like, it was upsettingly easy to soft lock your game, where you just, nothing you would do could move you forward. And man, if you came up, like, gaming in that era, you were always gonna make multiple saves, because, like, at some point you experienced pain. 100 hours worth of pain, because, like, that shit's just gone and you have to start over. And it's like, do you want to see what happens to Cloud? I guess you're starting the game over, aren't you? Funny too, Josh and I had and I guess still have completely different interpretations of, like, the ending of 7, because I just always had thought that it was like Sephiroth won. Like, it's gone. The planet's destroyed. Like, the only thing that's left is, like, Red 13 and like, the animals. And the people died, and it's over. It's done. And Josh was like, what, really? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, you know, it wasn't enough. I do appreciate all the time and care that has gone into making Sephiroth incredibly beautiful, as he should be. If you remember the movie, I think the look was established there. I do remember the movie. Listen, Will, before I had Josh watch Advent Children with me, and then we played Crisis Core, and now we're playing Rebirth. I was like, I have a plan. Here's what we should do. We should watch Advent Children again, and then play Crisis Core. Actually, that wasn't it. We were just messing around with, like some Sony Pictures app thing that was, like, free on the PlayStation. And then it was like, you can watch Advent Children for free, and I was like, well, now I know what I want to do. Let's watch Advent Children again. And Josh was like, really? And I was like, hell yeah. Oh yeah, I was going to say, Shinra Manor, you go up the back. I'm putting some lotion on my hands. You go up the back of Mount Nebel, and then you have to, like, go into Shinra Manor, which now has, like, 20 to 50 underground floors that you have to fight through. And then Kate Sith / Ketchi. It is Ketchi, but they've decided to call him Kate Sith because Square just does whatever. They're just gonna do whatever. And, Do you know how long it took me to stop? You know what? I'm not gonna be this person again. I'm just alternating Ketchy and Kate Sith. So Kate Sith, it becomes the party leader, and then you have to roll him through an amount of air ducts and play red switch, blue switch, and I just would like Square to understand. Nobody likes red switch, blue switch, okay? Like, I didn't like it in 10. I don't like it here. Why are we doing red switch, blue switch? You gotta play red switch, blue switch with Kate Sith, and then fucking fight guys with just him. But it's actually fine because he's ridiculously OP. And Josh was like, I mean, I had no idea that that Shinra Manor went down this far. And I was like, yeah, this is weird. You have to do some big battles against some Hojo experiments, which is pretty par for the course. But like, it's just confusing. And then because Josh was like, well, I mean, I knew it was pretty far underground, but they just make you walk down like a spiral staircase, which they also did in Crisis Core. It looked functionally the same. And now it does not. And then Vincent is there, and you have to fight Vincent, and it is ridiculously difficult. I would also call that, like, traversal bloat. Because, like, we spent, like, 3 hours trying to get to the bottom of Shinra Manor. Do you remember how long it took to get to the bottom of Shinra Manor originally? Like a minute or two. It was spoopy, but it didn't take no 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand the amount of traversal. I guess that's what I'm gonna call it. I do not understand the amount of traversal bloat in this game. Does Square think that what people like about open world games is the walking from one place to another and not knowing where you're going and then not being able to get there? Like, 'cause that's not it. Like, people do like checking stuff off a list, but, like, not when they can't get to the thing on their list and give up. I don't understand it. Some strange decisions have been made. I have liked a lot of the decisions that they've made have been really cool. The fact that they have 2 separate dog escort missions that they wrote a dog song for, and then wrote a dog remix fight song that has bow wow wow in it and is a fucking legitimate bop, is some of the best shit I've ever seen. Like, I mean, when this game is clicking, it's clicking on all cylinders, but like, there's just some shit in there that I do not understand. Also, Josh mentioned, and I think I agree, so Zack is back. Only not, I don't know, I was expecting more Zack than this. I was kind of looking forward to more Zack than this. It's weird. It's weird. Weird decisions have been made.